Hello, I'm here. By the way, welcome back to my channel, Leilani, Barbados. I'm just diving right in with this new podcast from Meghan Markle, which is about the B word, to be or not to be called the B word. Of course, we know that Meghan Markle would never have been able to get these kind of women to talk to her before, even though she did have a blog and she could have potentially have had a podcast. Now that she has married Prince Harry, she can now torture everybody and have them on her show, and they'll be like, well, this might be good for my career. I don't know. Not at all. Anyway. Diving right in, the intro starts out with Meghan Markle talking about growing up in front of the television. It's honestly so difficult to do these videos. I hope I'm not losing my mind because her production is so bad. Like, the production value is really at the bottom of the barrel. It's very cutty, is chopped up. And production value is this. I'm wearing my cat's bow. You know what I mean? Get your production value. Of course, nowadays times we know that you could not sit your child in front of the TV for so long. Why is limiting children's screen time important? Children who spend excessive amounts of time in front of a screen are also less likely to be active. Problems with behavior and attention, excessive media use can lead to difficulties in school, attention problems, hyperactivity, and behavioral issues. It does not say that you will turn out completely mentally ill and insane, as Meghan Markle has. So I thought she was going to say her favorite television show was Clarissa or whatever that show was, and like Nickelodeon's. No, it was Jeopardy. So of course that's a lie. Jeopardy is an adult show. It's not for children. And then of course you have Alex Trebek with his
So long everybody. So long everyone. So long.
Rest in peace. So she was saying that she loved Jeopardy so much because she liked all the vocabulary and people knowing all this information. So instead of watching Nickelodeon, she's trying to say that she was such an intellectual that she would watch Jeopardy. Well, nothing stuck. All of these intelligent people that she was watching, clearly she, through osmosis or television-mosis or whatever, did not get anything from them because her vocabulary is very poor. In fact, she only uses words like really, amazingly, super, and all these words as superlatives. So she comes out with her first guest, who is Robin Thede. And Robin Thede used to go to Northwestern, and she said she was a Wildcat too. Like, that's like their sports team, I guess. And Meghan's like,
woo. That's true. I was always more of a mild cat. Let's be honest. It was...
And she said that she had a big problem being called a B word when she was in her 20s, but now she would not be as upset about it. She wouldn't want to fight about it. She's embracing it, and she has this series that she does talking about, like, yes, us B words are bad B words. We're baddest beaches or whatever. I think that if you just don't like the word, you don't like the word. You don't have to figure out a way to cope with it. You just have to say, I don't like the word. And this is what is so confusing about Meghan Markle, because in this, she keeps talking about, oh, well, I don't sanction the word, but I love that people do.
I can't. I mean, for a person who hates the word so much, this is giving me hives. Nevertheless, I will say it's all really interesting to me what Robin is talking about because, as you may have guessed, I have zero interest in reclaiming this term.
But either you like it or you don't like it. Or maybe she sounds snarky. I make fun of these plebs who have to accept being called the B word, but me, I wouldn't do it. I cringe and I break out in hives. Guys, if I've lost my mind, please tell me. Just please tell me if I've lost my mind at this point. So this entire podcast, or series as Meghan Markle likes to call it, is all about justifying Meghan's treatment of the royal staff, her vile, ignorant, unmannerly behavior in 18 months that she was there. Meghan Markle starts to talk about how the B word is a euphemism. Is a euphemism for difficult. And she starts that trend, and with every single guest she has, she tries to put that on the guest. And each guest is like, no, I don't agree with that. I don't think that is the same thing. And also, I wasn't difficult, So she's trying to project herself upon these people, which honestly makes them very unlikable. And I hate that because I think that the guests are likable. But once Meghan taints them with her brush, it's like they honestly become unlikable in spite of all their accomplishments. And so she just ruins everybody one day at a time. One podcast at a time. So Robin starts talking about, yeah, no, bad bitch and baddest bitch and whatever. And then Meghan's like,
Oh, Robin. Oh,
it's so false. She brings on some random zoologist, Lucy Cook, who sounds like she's from England, who talks about females in nature. They have the same qualities as men and they are not ostracized for that because they're animals. And in the animal kingdom, women having these aggressive and so on traits, slutty traits or whatever, is a good thing. Oh, it's not biological, it's just cultural. Right? That's what she said. And that's when Meghan Markle comes back and says,
So perhaps the truth is that labeling a woman as the B word or as difficult is often a deflection, a way to hide some of her really awesome qualities.
This gets worse and worse though. So hold on. She finally announces her guests, who are Mellody with 2 L's, Hobson, and Victoria Jackson, not to be confused with the actual famous Victoria Jackson, a comedian from Saturday Night Live. So instead of just interviewing these guests, Meghan has to say her piece first. Like, oh, I'm my friends. I talk to my friends all the time and my friends. You know, I have all these friends. And they said that the B word is just a convenient villain term.
Okay, so calling someone the B word, labeling them as difficult, it's often a way to insult and dismiss someone. I was talking to a good girlfriend of mine this past weekend, and when I saw her, she said something I had never heard before. And she said, well, isn't that a convenient villain?
Meghan tends to bring up her friends all the time in her podcast. And like, this is such a miss for her because she should try to connect with her audience so that her audience is getting to know her and she's getting to know her audience. She should engage with them instead of talking about these phantom friends that she has. Because even with Mellody Hobson, she doesn't know where she is in the world.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Are you in Chicago right now?
No, I'm actually in San Francisco. So, yeah.
Closer than usual.
And so if she's in San Francisco, shouldn't she have a face-to-face meeting with Meghan? Like, I feel like she could come into Meghan's studio and just like talk to her there. Meghan is very hyped up during this interview, I found. She was much more like interested rather than the sleepy, breathy, you know, way that she's been with her other guests. So Mellody goes on to talk about how she's so obsessed with finance because she grew up in a tough life. So Mellody gives a story about how she went to the orthodontist herself to get her own braces. That's how she was at like 12 years old. So she's a money girl. Okay, she just focused on that. Okay, there's nothing more to say about that. Except that Meghan says that she needs to rethink how she's raising her children.
I have to rethink my parenting style. Because if that's what yields you, then I've really got to up my game with our kids being self-sufficient.
Obviously, they're spoiled brats at this point. I do find that Meghan tries to shop Mellody for her financial advice, just like she did Issa Rae, who is very educated as well. It is a trend with Meghan that she is trying to get as much information out of these people. She's sort of using them, whether it's creativity or whether it's finance. So in order to ruin Mellody's career, Meghan Markle tries to spin.
Do you think that men have to think in those terms as well?
I don't think I have to. I choose to. So
you choose
I choose to.
Yeah, it's true.
It's those terrible men in corporate. And Mellody's kind of like, no, actually, like, if anyone's intimidated by me, I'm like, it's your problem. It's not my problem. It's like, yo, mama, you're so intimidating, Mellody. And she's like, your mama's intimidating. I don't know. It was very... I'm starting to feel like this isn't like even non-talkable points, but anyway, whatever. And Mellody's like,
I want to be clear about something, Meghan, though.
I was like, oh my God, I hope she says you're an idiot.
Like, anyone who's worked with me, anyone who knows me, I am not a shrinking violet.
Which, yeah, I can't. Okay, so all of a sudden we get this sensitive material warning.
Hi there. Before we continue, we wanted to let you know that there's some sensitive material coming up in this part of the episode. Specifically, a story about sexual assault. Please listen with care.
And then directly after that, we get Meghan Markle laughing and saying,
You're thinking, what are you talking about? You've been saying it should never be used. Yes, I'm talking about when it's referring to a female dog. But why are female dogs called by that name?
ha 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 ha, talking about female dogs and the conspiracy theory around female dogs and the historical references to the B word. Like directly after the sensitive material thing. So, as I said, production value is very low on this show. I'm trying to take this seriously, but like, it's hard. So finally we get the guest, Victoria Jackson, not to be confused with the other Victoria Jackson, who's a Saturday Night Live comedian. And she had a home invasion, and this is where the assault came in and the trigger warning should come in. She's a makeup guru, and she started with infomercials, and she made a whole company for herself. Her daughter got very ill with a rare disease, and she put all that money into finding a cure for her daughter. Meghan Markle scoffs at that.
A mascara to molecular immunology.
Exactly, right? It makes sense.
Just casual, but when you do, when
Wow. So $17 million later, Victoria Jackson's daughter survives past the 4 years, and Meghan Markle's like,
there had to have been pushback. There had to have been people just saying, stop, this is ridiculous. What are you doing? Do you think the pushback you were getting was, it could be twofold. Is it because you were a woman and out of your wheelhouse specifically, or perhaps because as the mom, they didn't want the emotion in it?
And Victoria Jackson's like, no, not really. You know, I was doing a foundation. I was saving more than just my daughter. I was saving the world. Yeah, I respected the doctors and they respected me. This lady was very level and sweet. In fact, Meghan Markle herself introduced her as a good egg.
As well as just all around good egg. Victoria Jackson.
A good egg. This woman who has been through so much, all you can describe her as is a good egg. The thing is about this podcast, right, is that I go into it every time thinking that I'm going to find Meghan Markle to be enchanting and positive, even just for the fact that Harry fell in love with her and liked her. But I can't do it. I think Meghan Markle is a typical fake friend who just is one thing to one friend and one thing to another friend. I think even me with you could say Leilani would not agree with that, or Leilani would have questioned that. She's that fake friend that nobody wants. And because of her age and stage in life, I'm sure she has no friends at this point. Because in high school, that might fly, you know, fake friend. But not in adult life, in real adulting, it doesn't fly. Why is this so bad? This content is so trash. Why? That just speaks to how trash of a person she is. I can't put it any other way. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like my video, please like it, subscribe, and share it to everyone you want to on any platform you want to. Go down in the comments and talk to me. I'll talk back to you as well. There's a lot here. I need support. And I'm gonna do these things, these videos, these reviews of this trash content. Help me get through it. Thank you so much for watching. Love you so much.